let's start with these fancy cars, vintage cars you can drive. I was particularly interested because I would love to drive some of these cars.
Yeah, and I think someone would love to drive your cars, I'm sure.
I'm going to put it in the box.
So there are these they're basically these peer-to-peer rental things. So it's like a Zipcar but for vintage car, Turo, drive share, things like Vinty, where basically if you want to test out or sort of borrow a car for a weekend, you can go to somebody who has a fancy car, a vintage car, and they've pre-cleared you, and you borrow it for the day. It can cost $250.
And that sounds great. Tell me about the pre-clearance part of it. I mean, before I let somebody drive my car, I would want to know they're not going to wreck it.
Yeah, so all the members are pre-cleared, and their insurance is checked, and then also sometimes you have to give them a social security number. So this is a vetted process, and oftentimes the owner will actually meet you to give you the car and walk you through it.
That's great, but they're not in a road by itself with a car. There are other drivers, right? So what happens if someone crashes the car?
Yeah, I mean, it's the same thing as renting any car. It's insured.
Yeah, I feel much worse about
your baby. Yeah, well, I mean, it's like Airbnb-ing your house, right? You have nice artwork in your house. You might have nice things. It's a risk that comes with these peer-to-peer things, but people are really using these car trade programs to sort of test out vintage cars to see if they want to buy them on their own.
And do you go day by day, or how long? Is there a minimum or a maximum?
You can do it for a few hours. It can be like Zipcar. Yeah, it can be like Zipcar. So, but it can cost from $250 to $600, and you can get everything from, an old BMW from the early 2000s to, we test drove a Jaguar from 1990, a Bronco from the 80s. You can try some cool stuff.
So the question: any car in the world, what's the one car that you'd want to drive?
Well, the car I own is the one that I like the best. But I would actually probably drive a Duesenberg.
Okay.
Duesenberg.
So that's the one you're like, yeah.
Probably, yeah. But I'd love to drive a Duesenberg. Yeah, but I don't think that's going to be. A Duesenberg's not going to be in this. I don't think.
I mean,
and those are worth millions of dollars.
Yeah, I don't think people are renting out the $1 million Ferraris.
Super high-end for cars.
But I mean, you never know.